Alrighty, welcome back everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. And in today's episode, we're going to be properly going through the list of mods and data packs I have on this world. We are going to do a little treasure hunt, as I did some exploring, got some treasure maps for us to look through. We'll also be starting my house build, and hopefully finishing that this episode. And then after that, we'll be moving on to animal farms if there's time. But before we get into that, I've got a few things that I want to say. Firstly, thank you to all the subscribers. Everybody decided to stick around. As of recording this, we're at 14, which is amazing. So thanks to all of you. And then also, the first episode that I recorded and edited and put out, that was quite a rush job. I just wanted to get something out there, and there was quite a couple of things that I'd like to change, and yeah. So hopefully from now on, it's going to get a lot better. So what I've changed between episodes is I've been putting a lot of planning into this one, and hopefully this will improve the production quality of the future episodes, as they aren't going to be one day recorded, edited, and posted videos. They'll be throughout the week, and I'll be able to spend a lot more time on each part of those. Then I'm also going to be experimenting with different editing styles. For example, when doing those fast forwards, I might introduce some jump cuts instead, and things like that. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll eventually settle into a routine that I like and enjoy, and hopefully those will be pretty good. Then we'll get onto the mod list, and I'm going to explain these things as detailed as I can, just so you guys understand exactly what's on the world and what you'll be seeing more of. So, first mod on the list is Zero's money map, which is this little guy in the top right corner of my screen. And what it does is it just essentially gives you a money map, and with it comes a world map. And this world map, as you explore, loads in more parts of the world, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see it, look at all the different places you've been to, look what's around, and just get a bunch of information from that. Another thing that mod adds in is waypoints, and I'm going to create one now just so you guys see how that works. So when I press B, it brings up this screen, and I can type in whatever name I want to type in, and then select color for the waypoint. And if I say confirm, we see that there is now a waypoint here. And that is very helpful when doing long expeditions far away to find your way back home. So here's our home spawn, and that waypoint you'll see on the mini map, on the screen, and also on the world map. Alright, then the next mod we have is the inventory HUD, which is at the bottom of the screen there by the hotbar. And that just gives you a bunch of information about the armor you're wearing, how much durability is left, the weapon you're holding, and a bunch of fancy things. I can also toggle on the inventory, and that'll show you what's in your inventory, so you don't have to open it up every time. But I prefer not to have that open, so I usually just leave it disabled. Furthermore, we got the Reap mod, and that is a very basic farming mod, where instead of having to break and plant crops, you simply right-click on a fully grown crop, and it'll harvest it for you and put it in your inventory. Just makes life a lot easier with farming. You don't have to break and replace all the time. It saves a lot of time with that. Then we've also got the clumps mod, and this mod just makes it a lot nicer to collect XP, especially when you have a mob grind or something like that, and there's lots of XP coming in at once, as that usually takes a couple minutes to get everything. Now it clumps all the XP together in bigger orbs, which you can collect a lot faster. It's pretty useful stuff. Also have a mod called mouse tweaks, which allows me to do some things like hold shift and just scroll over everything and get it all. Also allows me to transfer stuff into inventories and out with the mouse wheel and get exact amounts like that. Just a little quality of life thing that I enjoy to have. We also have installed the Iris and Sodium mods, which are performance boosters and a shader compiler. So the Iris mod allows me to quickly switch between having the shader on and having the shader off, which is very nice. And then Sodium is basically like an Optifine, which is just a performance boosting mod, which helps with the loading of the game and the smoother gameplay. Now with this, we also have a few data packs installed, and one of them is Cauldron Concrete, which allows me to throw concrete blocks into a cauldron full of water to change them into, concrete powder to change it into concrete blocks, instead of having to place each one individually in water, break it, and then carry on with whatever build you're busy with. So that for me is just something that I think should be in the game, and I like to have that in the arsenal. So we also have Armored Elytra, which is a basic data pack that just allows me to combine my chest plates and my Elytra once I get those, and that just makes it a lot easier to use the Elytra instead of having to switch between chest plate and Elytra all the time when I want to use whichever one. Then I've also got a mod called Chunk Loaders, and that is essentially what it is. It's a chunk loader. It loads chunks when you're not in the area, so that you can keep farms running when you're far away from home. There's also a data pack in here called Real-Time Clock, which if I type in the command /trigger RC display, we can see exactly how many hours I've spent in this world so far, which is something that I like to keep track of. It's a pretty nifty thing to see. We also have a XP management data pack, and that allows me to store my XP in bottles by right-clicking them on an enchantment table, and then getting the XP back by smelting that bottle in a furnace. And that's just a nice way to keep XP safe or stored away for whatever reason is necessary. That could also help with some quick mending. If you're somewhere far away and there's no mobs around to kill, you can pop a few of those bottles and mend whatever you need. Next data pack we have is craftable name tags, which is definitely something that I think should be in the game default, but it's a way to craft name tags rather than having to find them in dungeon chests and out of fishing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's very useful, and that's why I got it in here. Then another mod I have is Rotten Flesh to Leather. This one is a bit hit or miss. Some people like it, some people don't, but I definitely prefer to have it, so it's easy to craft books and item frames and all those kind of things that you require leather for, instead of having to go and kill a bunch of cows. So yeah. Then I also have Uncraftable Ice, which allows you to take compact ice and blue ice and downcraft it into the previous ice versions, which is not something that's in the default game, but I definitely think it should be. Then we also have Uncraftable Nether Wart blocks, which allows you to take the Nether Wart block and craft it back down into Nether Wart. Easy way of storing it, collecting it, whatever. We also have Universal Dyeing, which allows you to dye different blocks like wool, terracotta, concrete of different colors already. So you don't have to use the white one to dye into the colors. You can use whatever color you have to dye into any color you want, which I think is very nice. The last data pack we have is Wool to String. I can now take a block of wool, put it in the crafting table, and get 4 string out of it. Very, very useful, especially when to craft bows and a bunch of dispensers. That's just one of those very nice quality of life things. Yeah, I hope this little snippet helped you guys to understand more about what's in the world and what you'll be seeing around the screen and with what I'm doing. And now it's on to the next thing. Alright, before getting to the video, there's a few things that I did behind camera. And that was move this chest organization thingamabobby to over here, so we have space to build a house when that comes. I also did a bunch of resource gathering, which I'll show you a bit of later. Got a bunch of resources for the house. And I went on a little adventure and went to explore and see what was around the landmass that we're currently on. Also found these little treasure maps, and I'm thinking of going on a little treasure hunt together. So we're going to jump into that now. We'll start with the first one, and I'll meet you guys there. Right, so I made it to the treasure chest, and when digging these up, the pattern that I use to find them is I go right over the X, and then when I start digging, I go one diagonally and down again. So from this block, go diagonally one, across one, and then we go down. And I keep repeating this pattern until I get to the chest. Alright, so I found a little something here, a little hint that gives away where the chest is exactly. I was searching through this place here, and couldn't seem to find it around where the X was. all these holes here. I popped off to the side here and I see a sandstone sticking out. This tells me that the chest is going to be right under that block. So let's see if I'm right. There it is. Okay, let's check what's inside. Very nice, very nice. Alrighty-o, let's go on to the next one. Okay, another tip here is when you guys are looking for which direction to go on the map, just know that when holding the map, up is always north, down is south, right is east, and left is west, just like a compass on a map. So then what you can do is go to F3, and you'll see a couple lines down, there's a line called facing, and at the moment I'm facing south. That means if I turn around, now I'm in the same direction as the map, because I'm facing north, and I can see that I'm in the top left, which means I need to go to the east, which is this direction, and south, which is that direction. So I'm going to head straight between there until I can see my little guy start moving. And I'll pop back in when we're there. Alright, so now what I've noticed is my little white dot there in the corner of the map has started moving down the side of the map. This tells me that I now need to be heading east instead of southeast. So I'm now going to turn east and track my way that way. Right, we have arrived at the second one. Let's see if we can find any clues as it's in the water as to where this thing may be. And there's the telltale sign. Blocks of sand in the middle of stone. See what we got in this guy. 2 downs this time. Nice. Okay, so now to the next maps. I'll meet you guys at each one, show you where we got in the chest, and then we'll head back home. And here's the third chest. Oh, very nice. Water breathing potions, that'll help out at some point. On to the next. And chest number 4. Very good. And the final chest. Cool stuff. Alrighty. Catch you guys back home. Alright, so here we are back at home base. This is all that we got from those 5 chests. And as you can tell, if you want some early game diamonds, it's pretty useful to go look for those boats and find those treasure maps, because you can get quite a few of them. Alright, so moving on to the next item on the agenda, I'm going to show you guys a little sped up clip of the adventure I had finding those treasure maps. And whilst that's going, I'm just going to have a little chat about what the plans are for this world exactly, so we all have a nice idea of what's to come in the future. So yes, on to that. The main idea behind this world is obviously to survive as long as possible, as it is a hardcore world, so once I die, world gets deleted. That being said, I have had many worlds in the past, both survival, creative, and hardcore. But the issue with these is they've never lasted, because there's no real incentive to playing a world by yourself. At least I can't find one. So I'm also hoping that having these videos posted to you guys will give me an incentive to carry on going with the world, and to keep building more and more and get as far as we can. I've outlined this world into 3 major time periods, those being early days, the mid-game, and then the rest of the time, as long as we get that far. In the early days, I'm planning to get settled with a house and some basic farms, just so we can get through surviving these first couple days, probably around the first 100-200 days. And this period will include building a house, having some basic crop farms, and some basic animal farms. On top of that, we'll also be setting up like a village breeder and some early game trading, so we can get mending and those kind of things, as well as an iron farm, and we definitely set up a nether portal. As we move on, we get to the mid game, and this is where I'm going to start setting up all of my automated farms that will gather me all the resources and things that I'll need to do the builds that I'm planning for the future. And some of these include like a gold farm, hostile mob farm, tree farm, and things like that. And all of this will be automated. In between making all these farms, we also start setting up our main base. So we'll start off the world in a house and work from there for quite a while. But then as we move on to the bigger projects, we'll be setting up the main base as well. And this will have a proper storage system, stuff like a super smelter, a villager trading hall, and maybe a brewing system, and all these are things you'd want in a base. Throughout the mid-game, whilst we're building the automating farms and setting up our main base, I will be doing a few smaller build projects just to keep you guys entertained, as I know redstone stuff and farms is not always the most fun thing to watch. So you can look forward to a bunch of little build projects in between all of those videos, and probably with those videos as well. Probably do one each video. And then once we get to the end of all of that and we have the farm set up, we can get resources from wherever we want and whatever we want, and our main base is up and running. We can get onto the more elaborate board projects, but no spoilers, so you guys have to watch until we get there, and I'll leave you guys in anticipation. Other than that, I would love to hear your guys' suggestions for some board ideas, as I am definitely going to run out if this world goes on long enough. So please send me what you think will look cool and go with the world, and I'll take them into consideration when planning future episodes. But yeah, let's get on to the next thing. I did some resource gathering for our house build offline, and the house that we're going to build consists of dark oak, calcite, birchwood, and deep slate. Now I'm ready to start building. Hope you guys enjoy this little time lapse. house is done. I'm really liking it. I hope you guys did too. Looks pretty good on the inside. It's just a shell at the moment though. But we're going to start moving our things in a second. And then I'll be a little more homey. So yeah, I'm going to get straight to that. Whilst I'm moving it, you guys can take a nice view of the outside of the house, and I'll be back with you guys in a second. Enjoy! Now in the house, and I would like to show you guys a little auto smelt that I make for pretty much every world that I have. And all you're going to need is some hoppers, chests, some furnaces, and I've got also the blast furnace and smoker. I'll make 4 units of this, and here's how it goes. So we're going to start off with the chest, 2 blocks from the wall. We're going to have some hoppers going into that chest from the back, and furnaces on top of that. These hoppers are going to take all the smelted items and put them into the chest at the bottom. Next thing we're going to need is some more hoppers in the front of these furnaces, and a chest on top of these guys. And this is going to take coal that we put in here and put them into the furnaces and split them evenly between the two. Next step is going to be getting hoppers into the top of these furnaces, and these hoppers will take items from this chest and put them into the furnaces to start smelting. And that's pretty much the whole system. So yeah, put things in the top that you want to get smelted. They'll go into the furnaces, coal comes from the front into the furnaces, and smelted item comes into the bottom chest. So I'll build the other 3 quickly, and I'll be right back. There we have it, 4 auto smelting systems. I like to do 4 regular furnaces for when I need to bulk smelt things like glass or anything like that. And then I've got the system with the blast furnace, and the blast furnaces, they smelt ores and minerals 2 times as fast. Then we also have the smokers, and the smokers cook food twice as fast. So instead of using regular furnaces for everything, we can speed up the process a bit with these 2. And before we end off the video, I'm just going to give you guys a quick little tour of the new house. And this is it coming through the front door. So I come in, I've got a nice little entrance room. Now we go up the stairs, got a nice little nook for our bed. And up here, what I'm planning to do is to have the enchantment set up. So I have the enchantment table with all the bookshelves and that kind of stuff. And then this area will be open for now. We'll figure something out to put there. Then we go back downstairs, and we got the little corridor. This is going to lead out to a balcony that I'm going to build in a future episode. And then we come through to this room, where we have our furnace system that we just set up. And this is going to be filled with chests all around the wall, so this will be our storage system for now. But yeah, we didn't have enough time to get to the farms this episode, but that'll be sorted out in the next one, along with decorating the house and making a pathway, some trees maybe, just general foliage. And then we'll carry on from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I know there was a lot of talking in the beginning, but that is not over. Shouldn't happen again, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.